Hello and most welcome to 958 of the Heidegger series. We have a very lovely day today here. It's a bit chilly in the wind, but at least we have relatively clear sky. We can see all the way to the stratosphere almost, I would say. And speaking about reaching for the sky, this is what we'll be discussing today in this lecture, is how to go to the higher level and how to overcome resistance to change. All chaotic systems has this resilience, which is an advantage, but do remember it can also be a disadvantage. Because when it comes to change will not be that easy if the system doesn't yield because of its inner resilience. And this is something very important to take into consideration. Classical physics, metaphysics of presence and so forth are stable systems to some extent. And they will not yield by themselves. Earlier in the series, we've shown from Heidegger to Derrida the limits of criticism. That criticism has the problem of confirming what it criticizes. And that, of course, leads to a lack of development. You are just confirming the limits already established. By pointing to what's beyond the limit is never put into the attention span. It will never be a part of awareness. So how to overcome? And I would say, especially in the very beginning, there will be a great resistance to change. We have a working system, so speaking from within the system is to some part also from without the system. Why change it? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's a bit more than that. Everything that is proven correct is proven correct within the system. So we have already access to absolute truth, time and space, so to speak. And this is something that is very hard to question. And I think our progress the last years is a very good example of that. It started somewhere with Derrida. It went over to Arkady Plotnitsky, and then we have this very important period with Julian Barber. Why Julian Barber? Well, he was questioning things that were unpronounced and unspoken, not claimed by anyone, actually part of the underlying striata that sort of gives support to all propositions, sort of a pre-logic. And of course this presupposition was even more so confirmed by classical physics. Confirmed is we need to be careful here because they don't really get their confirmation that way. They are self-confirming, but they get support. You could say that actually get some sort of fractal reliance, some fractal foundation. And that is the kernel that sort of was put into question by Julian Barber. He showed that the system could both take care of everything in classical physics as well as quantum mechanics. Another example is the heart in filibration. I hope that will not occur to you. It's a very distasteful thing to experience currently. But in order to sort of set the heart to a better chaotic organization, only the most cruel and crude of methods is being used. Stopping of the heart by an electric pulse of a couple of thousand of volts, going right through the heart with one of those machinery you can find everywhere today in Sweden. They are green, they have a white cross on them. If somebody suffering a heart attack, do use them. It could be good to really be sure it's a heart attack they're suffering from and not a fainting, otherwise they will be up for a surprise. We can compare our lower chaotic organization, our metaphysics of presence, with this filibration. The filibration is the very steady pulse, the sinus curve that is too unwearied to be resilient, stable, and will end in fatality if let by its own devices to continue, needs to be stopped. So a healthier, higher level of complexity will come into action. And this is exactly what happens, confirmed by Göran Kuhlberg. We discussed this with other men of the medical profession. Another sort of defibrillation shock to our system was, of course, the famous meteorite that ended the age of the dinosaurs. Having an expanse of 80 kilometers, it smacked into the earth, close to what is Yucatan today. And on its way to earth, the compressed air caught fire and put everything in its vicinity to fire, already before the giant meteorite even touched ground. So you can imagine the effects on Earth. And this was going out of one chaotic system into a higher level.
Hello.
Oh, Thomas!